Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting-edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat there, please? Make sure you can actually hear me. I'll do a couple of hellos. Rags, what about you, chum? Budgie, the kittens are here. The kittens are here. I know you like them. Steve Cray, what's your brother? The wonderful Emma G. Emma G. Got the link shelled in the lighthouse for me. Thank you very much. I got your last text message. Haven't replied, but I've seen it. Right, okay. Evening, Rory Herbert. Yes, I got your email as well with the link too, and I will be using it. Sorry about not replying, but I was sort of trying to get the thing ready, and then by the time I had time to shoot you an email, the stream was ready to go. Audio proper strong one. Good, thank you. The House of Babushka is in. What about you, chum? Ben, what about you, chum? Glad to have you aboard. We've got a gammon sandwich. We've got England for the English. We've got ugly. I'm pressing the wrong buttons and all. No replies, disgusting. You will get a reply just in my own time. Ugly Truth, what about you, chum? Glad to have you aboard. And let's see, Rags is saying hello to everybody. I think that's everybody. If I haven't, give you a shout out, squeal, and I will do so. Steve, Drunken Fraps are excellent. Please remember to turn the cooker off whenever you've finished, and don't burn the house down. That's all I've got to say about that. But enjoy, my friend, enjoy. Right. This is the point where I would normally do the shout-outs, but there's been an absence of streamage earlier on, and I don't know exactly what all's going on and what's not. But Rags is in the chat. Rags, are you streaming tomorrow night, chum? And if so, who have you got on as a guest? If you put that in the chat, I'll shout it out. But I would have guessed he is. Oh, there's Don Brownings and from down under. Good morning, probably. Glad to have you here. Yep, so I'm guessing Rags is going to be on tomorrow night. We'll maybe find out who he is if he sticks it in the chat. Quack, quack. What about you, Tuck? No sign of... Right. We've got information. This is good. We're getting it out. 7 o'clock, Ragnar Arnspear is on with Whiskey Straight. Whiskey Straight AI or Al, one of those two. I don't know this person, but I'm presuming it's going to be a good conversation. So there you go. There's one for you for tomorrow evening. I don't know if Sansom and Toffee are doing their Sunday night thing. I don't know. I did shoot Sans him a message earlier, but he must be out doing stuff. Hopefully, he's out doing some Coronation type stuff. That would be good. And but so I don't know what he's doing. And we've got another duck in, Jemima Puddle duck. What about you? Glad to have you aboard. So I don't know anything about Sunday night. What I can say with quite good certainty is that on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, our friend John Davison is going to be doing streams from 9 o'clock. And the Waffle House should be in good flow from 3 o'clock ish in the afternoon. I'm not quite sure because being on night shift, I have missed his recent streams and I don't know what all's going on with his dental work and whatnot. But if you like my stuff, you're going to like his. He goes on for like an hour and a half. He chatters away with the chat and he gives stuff away. Like coasters and calendars and all sorts of stuff. It's brilliant. Raymond Piper's in. What about you, chum? Glad to have you aboard. So we've got all of that done. Is there anything else? What I will say is starting about the coronation. Oh, Mr. Waffles has an infected tooth, infected jaw from the tooth removal. That's not good. Oh, that is sore and unfortunate. I was scooting about having a quick look around for streams and I couldn't find any. And his is one channel I didn't check because he's normally like mid afternoon. But and that's a big chunk of why I decided to go early tonight because there was nobody streaming, and I thought I would have a go at getting on a little bit earlier and getting finished a little bit earlier, and maybe be awake and alert on Sunday morning to get a little bit of cycling done if it's actually dry, because that would be good. I would like to do that. What else I forgot to say? Yes, Emma G and I had a really good day today. We went to watch the coronation on the big screen at Hillsborough Castle in Royal Hillsborough. It's the sometimes you do read a chat that just stops you dead. Toffee doesn't like me anymore, but you two were really good buddies because you jumped onto John Davison's stream to stop him saying cunt. That'll have him up in arms for God knows how long. Just be careful he doesn't set doggies on you. Yep. We had a really good day. Watched the coronation on the big screen. There was a 21 gun salute at it. We'll be talking about that later. Really enjoyable. Everybody there had a good time. It was great. We had the Royal Irish Regiment band playing. There was other music and stuff going on at it. It was good. So there you go. And that's what we did today. And then whenever we're coming home, there was one of the three band parades that was happening today in my local area. Was getting ready for kicking off whenever we arrived home. It's been mad around here. There's all sorts of stuff going on everywhere. It's actually very good. Yeah. I like our Toffee a lot too. He's good. He's a good lad. I think Rory was taking the urine. I don't think that he would be filling room for any length of time anyway. Oh, looks like Ben SPQ has handed in his notice. Have you a new job lined up, chum? I hope you have. And uh, oh fuck, man, lovely. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And good. I hope you pick one that works out really well for you. Our pie has arrived then. What about you, chum? Glad to see you. Hmm. Right. And with that said and done. Oh, well, okay. What about you, chum? Glad to hear it. Glad to see you. Thanks for popping along. We're 17 people in here. We're started early. We're not in the normal time slot. There was nobody streaming for us, and 17 of these absolute amazing people have turned up, and I'm overwhelmed. This is great. Really, thank you all for coming along. And then I'm going to actually start getting into the meat and bones, and we're going to look at the coronation ceremony and how it has evolved and the history of it. And that's the first thing we're going to look at. And I would say to everybody, I know that not all of you are going to agree with me and think that the coronation and the event and us having a king is a good thing. But we don't all need to agree on everything. And what I will say is, what there has been around the area where I live, where everybody pretty much thinks the same thing, and they're glad to have a king, and they're glad the coronations happen, and there's street parties going on, and there's band parades going on, and there's street parties, and there's a big street party on Monday night. They're closing down the main road for it, not a side street, a whole main road. Apart from anything else, even without the reason for why it's happening, it's a very good bit. It's nice actually having a community. And our pals with me, God save the king. Uh, we generally bemoan the lack of community cohesion in our areas and in the country. And the thing is, to get to actually have a community, you've got to have things that people agree on and can get behind. So you just might want to consider that. The Earl of Stars, then. What about you, chum? Glad to have you aboard. Well, Wookie. October. Evening, brother. What about you, chum? Hello, J Ducky. What about you, chum? Right. Okay, here we go. Into the coronation. A coronation, the ceremony at which a person is crowned ruler of a nation, is a tradition that has been around for thousands of years. Indeed, rituals to mark the accession of the new ruler, our oldest civilization. The ancient Egyptians developed elaborate coronation ceremonies over 5,000 years ago. The reign of the new pharaoh was inaugurated by a series of rituals and festivals stretching across a year. England is the last place in Europe that still holds coronation ceremonies today. So, uh, see your whole European history and destiny and sense of purpose. We're the last people in Europe doing this. Have a bit of a think about that. Though it has gone through several evolutions over the centuries, many of the traditions of the coronation remain the same. While the article Well, in this article, we will explore the history of the coronation, what happens in a coronation ceremony, and how these traditions have developed over time. Looking at the ancient origins. From the very beginnings, coronations have been a way of confirming the power of a new ruler as ordained by God or the gods. The ancient Egyptian coronations involved a spectre shaped like a crook, a ceremonial fly whisk. I always thought it was a cat of nine tails. A false beard, and a crown, all intended to set the new pharaoh apart as a divine being. The ancient kings of Judah were anointed with oil and crowned by priests. The king was regarded as a mortal man, but was anointed as God's chosen ruler. The pagan Roman emperors were not crowned, but instead acclaimed by the Senate. The ceremonies of acclamation gradually developed into coronations between the 4th and 8th centuries, as in the Roman emperor turned into the Byzantine emperor. The earliest recorded coronation was that of Emperor Leo in 457. Coronation ceremonies in Western Europe developed in the early Middle Ages, 410 to 1066, separately from those in the Byzantine Empire. They emerged out of a need to bring stability to a nation, as well as increasing involvement of the church in state affairs. Early medieval ceremonies were therefore religious occasions where rulers were anointed with the oil, an act seen in other religious ceremonies such as confirmation, rather than crowned. However, by the 9th and 10th centuries, the Holy Roman emperors and the kings of France were normally both anointed and crowned. So, what we're saying over this isn't just something that's appeared up in the last, like recently. This is about national cohesion and bringing everybody together under the same ruler, and it happens across many civilizations. I'm just keeping up with the chat tradition. That's exactly it. My sentiment exactly. Although I haven't said that anybody wants to get rid of the royal families in for a hell of a fucking fight. Right. Coronations in England. We don't know if the pagan Anglo-Saxon kings had anything like coronation ceremonies. The earliest reference to something we might consider to be coronations were being held in England are the Earth, the son of Offa, being consecrated as king of Mercia in 785. But Edward being consecrated the king of Northumbria in 795. However, we don't know if a crown was involved on that occasion. I think as we go on, we're going to find something just a little bit older than that. Well, granted, it's not in England. I'm not going to give any spoilers. The first English coronation, which was recorded in detail, was that of Edgar in 959, who ruled from 959 to 975, who was anointed and crowned as the King of England in Bath in 973. These times don't sort of aren't making sense to me. The coronation was not at the start of his reign, but seems to have represented a culmination or a high point of it. His queen, Elizabeth, was the first consort to be crowned Queen of England. The earliest surviving image of an English king wearing a crown is that of King Astian, 924-39, in the manuscript of Life of St. Cuthbert. The book and the image may well date from Astian's lifetime. And here we have a person with the familiar halo that we see in stained glass windows and the person with the crown. By 1043, when the last Anglo-Saxon king, Edward the Confessor, was crowned at Westminster, the essential elements of a coronation regalia, the crown, the orb, the spectre, had appeared. Edward was the first English king for whom an original seal survives. Each side of the seal had an image of the king enthroned. One side shows him crowned and robed, holding an orb and scepter. The other has him crowned and holding a rod, possibly the spectre, with a dove. Harold II, the last Anglo-Saxon English king, was also shown with an orb and scepter, but the crown on the bay tap and let me start again. Harold II, the last Anglo-Saxon English king, is also shown with an orb and scepter and a crown on the Bayeux Tapestry. And there we have him on the Bayeux Tapestry, which is very important because that's how we record very accurate historical data. We make a tapestry. Don't fuck that writing it down on bits of paper and parchments and stuff. Just do some needlework. It's going to take it 30 fucking years. Nothing will change, but from you start to the end, honestly, it'll be fine. Just want to do a quick check on the chats. Woodlander, what about you, Sean? Who would you rather have, Woodlander? Who would you rather have as head of state? Everybody that not my king, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Got a question for you all. Stop screaming, move back that. Here's your rubber of green people. Britain is always going to have a head of state. You've got a royal family who do it as a job, and you're going to know who you're going to get forever because it's hereditary and all that sort of stuff. Or you can pick one of them four wankers every 4 years, and that's what your prime minister's going to look, your head of state's going to look like. I know which one I'm picking. But there you go. Right, get back to our. Right. here we go. On Christmas Day, 10, where were we? Yeah, Bay Tapestry. Were. On Christmas Day, 1066, having defeated King Howard at the Battle of Hastings, William the Conqueror was crowned using Edward the Confessor's crown. William was the Williams was the first coronation at Westminster Abbey. By this time, the English coronation ceremonies were well established with a special eulogy that has been set down in various documents. So the actual format and wording of the ceremony has been set in place since 1066. The English coronation ritual is a religious service regarded by Catholics and Anglicans as a sacrament like baptism, confirmation, or ordination. Until the 16th century, English coronations were all conducted in Latin. There has been a set form to the service for well over 1,000 years, though it has evolved over time. The earliest surviving Latin text from an English ceremony is in the late 10th century volume called Liturgic Missale. From this, we can see that the service was quite short. There are a number of specific prayers, the anointing of the king and his investment with a rod, spectre, and helmet, rather than a crown. All of these elements are fitted within the Mass, with the king's oath coming at the end. In 1308, the coronation of Edward II, the order of service was revised to be much longer and more complex. This version set out in the beautiful late 14th century manuscript known as the Liber Regalis. It was used for all subsequent English coronations until James. It had the text translated into English for his coronation in 1603. The English text was subsequently used for Charles I in 1626 and Charles II in 1661. The next king, James II, had the service altered. As a Catholic, he could not receive the Anglican communion, and he did not wish to have an English Bible presented to him. But then, in 1688-89, James was overthrown by his Protestant daughter and son-in-law, Mary and William III. They restored the service with a few amendments to suit a Protestant age. The coronation was now followed by Holy Communion, and the monarch was presented with the Bible as a symbol of the faith, and he or she swore to uphold. The version of the coronation service is essentially what has been used for all coronations since, and there has not been another Catholic monarch since, and neither shall there be. Up until and including the coronation of Charles II in 1661, all English coronations were preceded by a long procession the day before from the Tower of London to Westminster Abbey. The monarch rode under a canopy carried by 4 mounted noblemen and a great procession through the city. This long procession was discontinued. Was discontinued by James II in 1685 and has not been reinstated. However, in the 18th century, there was a short procession on foot from Westminster Hall to the Abbey on Coronation Day, and since the coronation of Queen Victoria in 1838, the procession has started at Buckingham Palace. Oh, bonus points in the chat for anybody can tell me the only king and queen that have reigned simultaneously in England, because there's only ever been one. And by the way, it's not Camilla. Also known as the acclamation, at the start of the ceremony, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Earl Marshal ask the people whether they accept the prince or the princess as their king or queen. The congregation then shout out their assent. At the coronation of William I in 1066, this sudden burst of noise from the acclamation alarmed the Norman soldiers outside, who, mistaking the noise for an attack on William, set surrounding houses alight, leading to chaos, and tragically some people died. Set their houses on fire, some people are going to die. That's just one of those things. After the recognition, the choir sings an anthem. The ruler then approaches the altar and makes an offering to the church. If the recognition at the start of the service represents the people's recognition of the new sovereign, the oath represents the sovereign's reciprocation, swearing to rule wisely and well. This takes the form of a series of questions put by the archbishop to the ruler. Right, go back and check the chat. Marzipan's in. What about you, chum? William and Mary, Willowookie. Raymond Piper was all over it. Ducky, no, sorry. The royal family are a symbol of the British Empire and our awesome history. As a nationalist, we should be proud of that. Yes, we should. But there are some people that don't exactly know what being a patriot means. We have lost that knowledge. Ben was in there. Ellen was all over it with William and Mary. Uh, that's not quite true, J Ducky, because for a very, very, very long time, predating the Second World War, every time a king or queen takes the reign, they give all of their wealth and all of their belongings to the country. So that can't have happened. Right, sorry, just checking. Yeah, that's because I told you earlier. This is true. Amaji and I were having the conversation about William and Mary being the only ones that have only king and queen. The sovereign is then enthroned, seated on the coronation chair. For the coronation or anointing, the most sacred part of the service, at least 3 bishops have to be involved, and the new ruler is anointed with a chrism of consecrated oil. This part of the service takes part under a canopy, as it is too sacred to be witnessed by the crowd. Medieval kings were anointed on the head, hands, and chest. This was later changed to the inside of the elbows, head, and on the shoulders. This was later simplified. Queen Victoria and Elizabeth II were anointed on just their heads and hands. Investiture. The sovereign is then invested with the coronation regalia, clothes and objects that have symbolic value for the monarchy. This starts with the superannuation, the embroidered gold silk coat. Until 1727, there were also a pair of special buskins or boots. Next, the ruler receives a pair of spurs, which are the symbol of knighthood. Next, a sword belt is put on and the sword of state. This is being carried in the procession, is placed in the ruler's hand. Amicles or bracelets, which also represent chivalry or knighthood. Chivalry is not everybody thinks about the age chivalry. It's not quite what you think. Chivalry is 10 rules for how you act in battle, and one tagged on the end said you must save for a maiden, basically. At about this point, another 3 ceremonial swords are presented that represent the qualities of kingship, the sword of spiritual justice, temporal justice, and mercy. The latter is also known as the sword katana, which has a blunted tip. So justice and mercy have a blunt sword. The monarch is dressed in the mantle or pallium, a cloak made of gold cloth of gold, and receives the sovereign's ring. In 1837, the jewellers Rundle and Bridge and Rundle mistakenly made the new ring for the little finger rather than the ring finger. Unfortunately, Archbishop Howley forgot this point and forced it onto Queen Victoria's ring finger. It later required painful effort from her to get it off again with the help of soap. So we've got the crown, the orb, and the spectre. The order in which the sovereign receives his final and most heavily symbolic objects seems to have varied over time. Sovereigns now receive the orb, the scepter with the cross, and the spectre with the dove, also known as the rod of mercy. In the culminating moments of the service, the Archbishop blesses the coronation crown, takes it from the high altar, and places it on the sovereign's head. After this, the sovereign is blessed by the Archbishop, and the congregation pay homage. The new ruler then takes Holy Communion. The coronation concludes with recessional anthems and the procession out. Until 1821, coronations were always followed by a coronation banquet. The earliest one on record was 1170, when the young King Henry, eldest of Henry II, was crowned during his father's lifetime. From 1189, Richard I, until 1821, George IV, the banquet was always held in Westminster Hall. In 1830 and 1837, the banquet was discontinued, but in 1953, at Queen Elizabeth's coronation, there was a magnificent series of coronation luncheons and receptions at Buckingham Palace instead. She also had a coronation banquet in Hillsborough Castle in Royal Hillsborough, because Emma G and I did the tour of that today, and the menu and all still there for it. They have it all capped and laid out. And because rationing was still on, Hillsborough Castle had to apply to the government for extra food stamps to do the banquet. Although coronation ceremonies since 1689 have followed the same set order, the occasion has varied in style, organisation, and approach. This ancient ceremony has, in its way, reflected the changing times. George IV's coronation in 1821 broke all records of extravagance. Over 238,000 was spent on Westminster. In those days, that's quite a few quid. Westminster Hall was fitted out with galleries so that 2,734 guests could watch the 1,248 diners who were seated for over 5 hours. However, the coronation was also touched by recent royal scandal. The king's estranged wife, Caroline of Brunswick, who was not invited, tried to gain admission to the service and was refused entry. George IV's successor, his brother William IV, disliked ceremony and disapproved of such extravagance. His coronation in 1831 cost only 30,000, which some thought to be too little. The event was derided as the half coronation. Hold on. Queen Elizabeth's coronation on 2nd of June 1953 was a day of unmatched splendour and ceremony for a nation which had endured years of post-war austerity. The event was planned over 14 months, and there were 2 full dress rehearsals. A long route over 5 miles through the West End was devised for the return procession, and stands were built for over 96,000 spectators could watch. The procession themselves included over 29,000 servicemen and women. And you can see that if you're watching the video on the right hand side there, you see all the people flocking to see the royals. A long route over 5 miles through the West End was devised. Oh, read that. Music for the service was planned with special care. The choirs of Westminster Abbey, St Paul's Cathedral, and the Chapel Royal, and St George's Chapel, Windsor, were united, forming a 348 strong coronation choir, which was accompanied by an orchestra of 60. The event was, in effect, the first mass television broadcast in history. Many people bought or hired television sets for the occasion, and the coronation was watched by an estimated 27 million people in Britain alone. It was also the first event ever to be live streamed from the UK and European countries. And in 100 years' time, people will be looking back at the coronation of Charles in the same way, and they'll be interested in what people were saying about it at the time, whether people wanted it or didn't want it. With each new monarch, the coronation ceremony has been revived and reimagined while still holding true to its core traditions that date back over 1,000 years. So that's oh. On May 6, 2023, King Charles III will be crowned at Westminster Abbey. His coronation will no doubt reflect the huge changes in society that the United Kingdom has seen since his mother, Queen Elizabeth, was crowned 70 years previously. An announcement from Buckingham Palace, published on October 2022, it stated, the coronation will reflect the monarch's role today and look towards the future, while being rooted in long-standing traditions and pageantry. So that is the overview of the coronation ceremony. Murder, power, tower. There you go. 40, 42 doesn't have an accent. I beg to differ. Coronation. Yeah, it's one of them things. I'm just checking through the chat. Right. So it's all mostly all okay, just people taking the piss out of how I speak. That's all good. We'll like that. Uh, Amanda Lee's jumped in. I said hello to Mr. Mark. Billy Blogs has arrived. What about your son? Coronation. 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 I don't. I'm pretty much that. You know what I'm trying to say. So we're fine with that. I need to get a little bit of liquid in me. And uh, right, hold on. That's not 1 second. Also need to cough. Oh, thanks, Don. Uh, love you to bits too. Don't worry. Do you know what? See if the chat's taking the piss out of me about pronunciation stuff. I know I'm doing something right because if it didn't like me, they wouldn't do that. Uh, Now, the next thing we're going to go on to is the king or queen has got a particular role. Uh, and the king's not the only title. They are also the defender of the faith. We talked a little bit about the king being a Protestant. Uh, the artillery fire's coming. The artillery fire's coming, my good friend. And Mouse Cat's in. What about you, Sean? Oh, the king's Anglican. He's Protestant, Protestant Catholic. Billy, you're on late. There hasn't been a Catholic monarch since William III, Aunt Mary. Uh, James, that uh, came before them, was the last Catholic. Billy, is this your first day? Right. We'll do this real quick. Real quick. Not going to give you any links or anything. I'm just going to tell you what happened. Henry VIII is trying to have a male son. Can't get a male son. Thinks it's definitely not his fault. Need to swap it away. Goes to the Pope and I'm a bit iffy on James I or James II. I remember him as James and his rebel scum. Uh, yep. So he can't get it. Look, it's in the song. When James and all his rebel scum come up the Bishop's Gate. So he went to the Pope and asked for a divorce. The Pope said no, you can't have a divorce, and he created the England Church, the Church of England. Henry VIII did, which are Protestant Catholics, from which the name Protestant comes, as opposed to Roman Catholics, as in the people to the Vatican. That's you're a really quick one. Toffee L10, what about you, chum? Glad to have you here. No fighting with Mr. Herbert. Oh crap! I did a buck thing there on a stream. That's bad. So we're going to talk about why is the king known as the defender of the faith. It's actually in his title, King of England and Defender of the Faith. I'm going to zoom this in just a little. In common with predecessors for almost 500 years, the king is known as the defender of faith, and this is part of his full formal legal title and appears in many official documents, such as proclamations and parliamentary writs of summonses. This title dates back to the reign of Henry VIII before the break with Rome. See, because the Pope said no, I'm going to have another go on the 12th of July in the morning. No, I'm not supposed to be quoting songs, but he got me into that. In 1521, Pope Leo X issued a bull or charter granting Henry the title Fidei, Latin for defender of the faith, in recognition for the theological teaching Azureto Spectrum, Harry Potter type words, Spectrum, or Defense of the Seven Sacraments. He authored, possibly working with Thomas More, the camel woozy. The title Final Dancer or Final Deluxe for Queens has been bestowed occasionally on other monarchs by the papacy, notably James IV and James V of Scotland. In 1546, following the break with Rome, Parliament passed an act bestowing the title upon Henry, and it was used by the subsequent English and the British monarchs. Sometimes people colloquially refer to the monarch as the head of the Church of England. In the Bible, Jesus is referred to as the head of the church. Monarchs are known as supreme governor of the Church of England. This dates back to 1558 Act of Supremacy during the reign of Elizabeth I. In practice, this includes giving royal assent to ecclesiastical laws in a similar way to secular legislation and formally approving the appointment of bishops, archbishops, and a variety of other senior clergy, such as many of the deans of cathedrals. So, you want to change the rules of the Church of England or the Anglican Church, you've got to go ask the King or Queen, can you do that? The Church of England is known as the established church, meaning that it is established by law and has a unique relationship with the state, forcing the settlement developed in the time of Elizabeth I and subsequent reigns intended to calm the upheavals of the Reformation period. And the Church of England is part of the Anglican groups of churches. At the at the coronation, King Charles III, like every monarch since George I, takes a special oath to maintain the settlement of the Church of England and the doctrine, worship, discipline, and the government thereof as the law established. He also undertook separate oath at his accession to uphold the security of the Church of Scotland. Uh, he did not uh, take an oath to uphold the security of the Church of Ireland because whenever the Church of Ireland was formed, Ireland was one country, and we don't have a Church of Northern Ireland. We're in with the other people from down south. At her Diamond Jubilee in 2012, Queen Elizabeth II delivered a landmark speech explaining the concept of the established church in a multi faith society. She said, "The concept of our established church is occasionally misunderstood and I believe commonly underappreciated. Its role is not to defend Anglicanism to the exclusion of other religions. Instead, the Church has a duty to protect the free practice of all faiths in the country. It certainly provides an identity and spiritual dimension of its own many adherents, but also gently and surely, the Church of England has created an environment for other faith communities and indeed people of no faith to live freely. Woven into the fabric of this country, the church has helped build society better, more and more in active cooperation for the common good with all of these other faiths." In my opinion, just going a little bit far here, but I'm going to read it. In his first address to the nation, liquid. Actually, I'll say what I'm going to say about Queen Elizabeth now. I think she went a little bit far. I think all she needed to say is those who have faiths other than Anglican have nothing to worry about, for the religious freedoms we demand for ourselves we shall give to all people. That's a paraphrase of a quote from Carson. I need to cough. What was that thing? Like, I don't know. Right. In his first address to the nation on accession to the throne, His Majesty the King said, "The role and duties of the monarchy also remain, as does the sovereign's particular relationship and responsibility towards the Church of England, and the Church of which my own faith is so deeply rooted. In that faith and values that inspires, I have been brought up to cherish the sense of duty to others and to hold the greatest respect and the precious traditions, freedoms, and responsibilities of the unique history of our system and paramilitary government." As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself throughout the remaining time God grants me to uphold the constitutional practices at the heart of our nation. So that's the bit about the defender of the faith. Hello, Toby. What about you, Sean? Glad to have you aboard. And the other bit we're going to talk about is the actual throne itself and the Stone of Scone. And then we're going to have a bit of an intermission and look at some artillery before Mr. Herbert throws a fit. Long run. We're almost an hour in this. Quick one about the Stone of Scone and the throne. Just getting this up. Accept that. Present. Share screen. Share screen. It can annoy the Scots all they want. Uh, the Scots are about to find out they just borrowed it from us. View. I'm going to zoom this in a little. Charles III coronation shrouded in myth. The Stone of Scone will be at the centre of the ceremony. Compared to the crown jewels, the Stone of Destiny, or the Stone of Scone, will not be the most glamorous feature of the Coronation King on Saturday. And here we have a picture of the throne. This is the Edward throne, and this bit in the middle, I'm gonna check. Yep, see this grey bit beneath the seat? That's the bit that was built in for setting the Stone of Destiny in. Oh yes, we're going to get there. Right. So that's a stone in that little grey pocket just beneath the seat. So although it could be dismissed as only a block of red sandstone weighing 336 pounds, 24 stone, it is regarded as a sacred and ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy and has played an integral part in coronations and centuries. Here, Scottish people, where the fuck did you get it? Where did you just get it? Yeah. The origins are shrouded in myth and legend, but whatever the truth, it is part of our national heritage. Legend has it that it was the pillow used by Jacob in Genesis 28 when he dreamed of a ladder reaching up to heaven. The legend also has it the prophet Jeremiah arrived in Ireland several years after the capture of Jerusalem by the Babylonians, accompanied by Telphi, the daughter of King Sennacherib, the last king of Judah, and the heiress to the Davidic throne. He also brought with him a stone subsequently named Lafal, or the Stone of Destiny in Irish. Temple Alec, Madsen Sakura, Prince of Ireland. Taffy married Anaka, a Prince of Ireland. The union preserved the line of Solomon and the Davidic throne. Uh, the Lafal became the coronation stone, which was used at Tara for inaugurating the High Kings of Ireland. The Ulster Scots taking the Stone of Destiny focuses on the Ulster Scottish Kingdom of Dara and Fergus Moore, Fergus the Great, its first king after whom Carrickfergus is named. Actually, the factual thing is that the Ulster Scots, the, the Ulster Scots were not just in Ulster; they were down as far as Tara, the Scoti, as they're called. Around 305, Fergus supposedly took a Stone of Destiny as his coronation stone to Argyll, where it was crowned on it. No, it wasn't. It was a lot earlier than that. But according to Alawat Cronky of Scotland, the original Chronicle of Scotland, yeah, they have took a couple of thousand years off that, but never mind. By Andrew Whitman. In 841, Kenneth MacAlpine, a descendant of Fergus Moore and the first king of the Ardara and the Picts, is supposed to have taken the stone from Lara to Scone Abbey in Perthshire. For 5 centuries, the stone was kept in the Abbey church there and was only taken out to the Moot Hill for enthronements. At first, it may simply have been covered with embroidered cloth for the king to sit on. Later, it may have been incorporated into the wooden throne. In 1296, when King Edward I invaded Scotland, he removed the stone and had it incorporated in the new throne in Westminster Abbey. That's the Edward I throne that you see in the picture with the little slot for the stone. Known as King Edward's chair, which is said to be the oldest piece of furniture in the United Kingdom to retain its original function. Some believe that the stone was taken to London by Edward was a fake because the abbot at Scone concealed the real stone in the River Tay or buried it elsewhere. It is alleged that dissertations of the Stone of Scone do not match the present stone. Well, the stone itself has been broken in half, but let's not get on that. For 700 years, it had been used in coronation ceremonies of most of British monarchs. In the 17th century, the historian John Speed described the stone in Westminster Abbey used in the coronation of James VI and first in July in 1603 as Saxon Jacob, Stone of Jacob. By the terms of the Treaty of Northampton, the English agreed to return the stone to Scotland in 1328, but rioters prevented its removal from Westminster Abbey. Thereafter, the stone's history has been uneventful. In 1657, Oliver Cromwell removed it to Westminster Hall for his investiture as Lord Protector. It may have been, Cromwell says, we're not going to have any more kings, I'll just be Lord Protector and have all the same powers and rules. But there you go. It may have been damaged in 1914 when the suffragettes hung a small bomb on the chair. Yeah. No, I am really peaceful people that just wanted to vote, blowing things the fuck up. During the Second World War, it was secretly buried at Westminster Abbey to prevent it falling into the hands of the Germans. Apart from the Dean of Westminster and Charles Prayer, the survivor of the fabric of Westminster Abbey, very few people knew of its hiding place. Concerned that the secret could be lost if all those people were killed during the war, which was not impossible, Piers drew up 3 maps showing the hiding place. 2 were sent in sealed envelopes to Canada, one to the Canadian Prime Minister, who deposited it in the Bank of Canada's vault in Ottawa, and the other to the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, who stored his envelope in the Bank of Montreal in Toronto. Once Pearse had received word that the envelopes had been received in Canada, Pearse destroyed the third map. In the 1950s, the SNP commanded Desiree electoral support, but on Christmas Eve 1950, a group of four Scottish nationalists pulled off a stunning public relations coup by breaking into Westminster Abbey and removing the stone. Well, they broke the stone in two whenever they dropped it, so I'm not quite sure that's safekeeping. Compton Mosel's novel The Third Wind of Love, 1944, probably inspired the stunt. Mackenzie was a lifelong Scottish nationalist and co-founder of the National Party of Scotland, a precursor to the SNP. The stone disappeared without trace for 4 months, but was found in the ruins of Arbroath Abbey, where the Declaration of Arbroath was drawn up in 1320 on 11th April 1951. 1 second, people. So I'm just checking the comments. Yep, the new model army. Right. The stone, again with some doubts as to whether it was the original, was returned to London and was in place for the coronation of the Queen in 1953. In 1996, when the SNP became a more significant electoral port, the Prime Minister, John Major, unexpectedly announced in Parliament that the stone would be returned to Scotland on the understanding it could be borrowed for future coronations. The Dean of Westminster was only informed 48 hours earlier. On the 700th anniversary of the stone's removal from Scotland, Prince Andrew handed over to Historic Environment Scotland, the custodians of Edinburgh Castle, where it was displayed with the honours of Scotland, the Scottish Crown Jewels, and the Crown Room. The lay moderator of the Church of Scotland hailed the stone's return as a substantial landmark. 4 days after Queen Elizabeth's death, Historic Environment Scotland announced that it would be conveyed to Westminster Abbey for the coronation of Charles III. In 2024, the stone has found a new home in Perth City Hall, which is only 2 or 3 miles from Scone. So it's going back to Scone. There you go. That's all about the Stone of Scone. He's taking that a little bit far, I think. Getting the Declaration of Arbroath tattooed on your back, that's going a bit far. Scone. Scone. Right, okay. I'll now change my pronunciation of it. The Stone of Scone. Now, just let me have a quick check at this. What else did I have for you lovely people? Right. And how long are we in this? We're in this 1 hour, 9 minutes. We're going to do a little bit of artillery. Because this is something that happened today. And how much of this we're going to put on is another matter. 1 second. I'm just getting this link that was very kindly supplied to me by Rory Herbert. And it involves his previous regiment. And right, this is coming up now. One momento. Oh. Oh, 1 second, people. Right, I got all sorts of noise blasting at me here. One momento. Oh no. Right, that's it. All right. Here we go. Right. One of the things that happens whenever a king is crowned is we're going to have a gun salute from Hillsborough as well, or at least some of it. One momento. uh, share screen. Share screen. Uh, we whenever king is crowned, it's hard for people to know that it's actually happened. Uh, so we have gun salutes in various parts of the country, and that's how the people that are not at the event know that the king has just been crowned. Let me know in the chat if you're getting audio with us. And Rory can tell us what regiment it is. Fuck. Muted. Yeah, muted, mute way. Yep, fucked up. Knocked it off during that to do a bit of a cough, and I had a mute. Well, this is how we spread the news. Uh, this is how we spread the news around the place that the new king has indeed uh, been found, been crowned. So, and here's what happened. 1 second, I'll just get this. Right. Oh, hold on. What the hell's going? This is not good. 1 second. Right. Bump, 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 bump. Sure. 1 second. I will get this sorted. Present video file. Glad that good job this wasn't uploaded to YouTube. This is not yep. We're getting there. Not the stream. Remove that from studio. You need to go out. You need to go out. Once 1 second. Right, hold on. Right, I'm going to start over. I'm going to find this fucking thing. No, I can go. I need to find this file. Downloads. Right. One second. I've got double hearing going on now. Right. I think we've got this figured out. Sorry for this, Horlicks, but technical difficulties do indeed happen. No. Right. Let me know if there's audio, please. Right. Hold on. No audio. Tiny audio. Right. Mm-hmm. Let me know if this is any better. Right, hold on. I'm going to have one last go at getting this to work. Uh, this is the last possible chance. If I do this, right, here we go. One second. One second. Right. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is doing my fucking hair in. Yeah, no, sorry. Can't make it work. That says yeah, right. No, sorry, I was trying to get the footage. I'll get that to work and we'll get it properly sorted out in the video, and you can expect that coming up, but we're giving up on that. And what I think we will do at this juncture is we're going to do our strange sport. So get your guesses in the chat for a strange sport. What you think it could possibly be? Because we've got an excellent strange sport. Now, I will say before I start this that the sound in this is lower and worse than uh, the video I just tried to show. You're not going to hear this, but you don't need to. You can watch. And what have we got? Any guesses for the strange sport? Here we go. It's coming up right now. Here we go. The T-Rex. T-Rex racing. We had that. That T-Rex at the right and the big one on the left as it just gets into the lead. There we go. Slow motion to the finish. Who had T-Rex racing in their bingo card? Anybody? Anybody? David nearly said that. No wonder what. Finger counting in Cornwall. Pudgy smuggling. Right. Competitive wanking. Fuck's sake. Helicopter jumping. Well, if you thought T-Rex racing was good, we didn't see that shit. Have I got something for you now? Have I got the fucking thing for you? You're going right. Here we go. That's a good enough place as any for to start the show. Here we go. Up we go.
You guys want to see them run the course? These aren't your standard, your run-of-the-mill dinosaurs. They have over 110 million views on Facebook and YouTube. 6.5 million years in the making. We got Rico Rex versus Rue Rex. Here they go.
Here they go. Here they go. They got to be a little bit careful. Oh my God. They did it. Can they do? Oh my God. Look at this. Here they go.
What the?
Evan, they're doing it. I cannot believe this. Nowhere else can you see two T-Rexes run the course.
I'm the name swiping at him up top there. They're gonna go. Oh! One down, but he's gonna try it again.
Look at that T-Rex go.
Here they go. Jake's getting eaten by a T-Rex. Island Ninja up on the trots. I can't believe it. I can barely do this without. This is incredible.
It is incredible, especially gauging how small that wingspan is. Those arms are tiny, Noah.
I think Rico Rex has an evolutionary advantage. Oh, Rico Rex makes it.
Oh, so close. Not giving up. The definition of perseverance right there. Little 1 foot balance there. Trying to gauge. Oh! Just kidding. Now he's just showing off for the fans. Nice move there in the blue lane. And the high five, the camaraderie.
Cheer them on. This is absolutely incredible.
Oh my God! Can he do it?
Right, enough of that madness. But where else would you get T-Rex Ninja Warrior courses? Nowhere. See what I find for you all. Shorthand typists. Yep, they're definitely real. They are definitely 100% real. We're an hour and a half in, and what else did I have? The cover. Reformation, relation, monarch. Right. Thanks for dropping in, Ian Moore. Yep, we're going to Maple. Thanks for dropping in. Go watch your MMA or whatever it is. Yes, we're going to Maple. We're going to Beltene. Here we go. We're going to have a quick go through the May Day traditions, our original ones. So here we go. Get this up. Share screen. The origins of May Day stuff. Right. Phone's making noises again. Right, there we go. The origins of May Day. And to give the celebration its proper name, Beltene, I'm going to go through, I'm not going to go into very in-depthness. If you really want to know all about the May Day traditions on a deeper dive, the May Day one from last year where I did all that, the link for that's in the description. So if you want, if this is giving you a taster and you want to know more, that's where to find it out. This is coming from NCS, whoever the fuck that is. As we begin to enter the summer months, we come across the celebration of Beltane, the ancient Celtic fire festival celebrated by pagans and others all over the world on 1st of May. Others may celebrate Beltane over 3 days from 30th April to 2nd of May. You may also recognize this holiday by the name of May Day. Spoiler alert, we do not get May Day as a public holiday because of our long-standing traditions around May Day. That was something else which I will dive into quickly. Beltane is a celebration of the beginning of spring, falling between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It represents new life, new beginning, fertility, love, union, sex, and sexuality, abundance of light. During Beltane, the energies of the earth are at their most potent, bursting with life and growth, encompassing the world with floral and faunal beauty all around it. The name Beltane is thought to derive from the phrase Bel's fire, which refers to the sun god Bel. However, the literal translation of the phrase means bright fire, indicative of the bonfires that play a colossal part in the festival, as well as the fires that represent the passion within the new burning light of the summer to shine upon us. Beltane is the second of the 4 quarter fire festivals, which fall at each seasonal turning point of the year. They are Imbolc, Beltane, and Lummus. Lummus and Shaman. Beltane and Shaman are seen as festivals representing masculine energies of the year, and Imbolc and Lummus represent the feminine. Many pagans and followers of the Celtic year and the wheel of the year may see this year as divided into 2 halves of light and dark, and 2 primary seasons of winter and summer. Shaman is the beginning of the dark half of the year, and Beltane begins the light half. Sometimes Beltane is referred to as Catalman, which means opposite Salmon, which reflects the 2 festivals living on the opposite sides of the wheel of the year, Beltane being Smatan's counterpart. And yes, I have no fucking clue what the correct pronunciation is for these funny words, so I don't even try. Okay, I'll give it a word, but I checked the cupboard where I store all the fucks that I've got to give about pronouncing words that aren't in common parlance correctly, and behold, it's empty. I'll give it a word, but if you want to know the proper pronunciation, look that up somewhere. Traditionally, a Beltane bonfire would be lit by a druid, which is in honor of the god Bel, also known as Bel, Belor, Belunus. On Beltane Eve, 2 large fires were built by the Celts using 9 sacred woods based on the first 9 trees of the Celtic tree calendar: birch, rowan, ash, alder, willow, hawthorn, oak, holly, and hazel. Fire in this holiday was regarded as a source of healing, protection, purification, which led to traditions like members of the community walking around or jumping or dancing over the bonfires to cleanse themselves and bring upon the new fertile beginnings in their lives. Young people leaped over the fire in hopes of attracting a partner, and couples jumped through together to pledge their devotion to one another. Others did so for the protection on their travels, and pregnant women would jump over the fire to bless themselves with a swift and healthy delivery. Farmers would also drive their cattle between the bonfires to purify and cleanse them before they were led into fields to graze. Side note, the fires that they're jumping over aren't these big massive ones, they're little small fires, and they would have done that naked because it's a bit dangerous to jump over fires with clothes on because they might catch fire and burn you, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason why they had to do it naked. Nothing sexual about it at all. People's firehouse would be relit with the flame of Beltane, signifying the collective share and honouring the sun god and celebrating the beginnings of the path of the summer. Many villagers would do this by taking wood from the Beltane fires to use it in their own hearths. So they'll put their own fire out, get it cleaned out, ready for a new fire, and they'll light it with the communal fire. And they would keep that going all year round, and that would represent the eternal Beltane fire. There's a legend which is widespread across the pagan community of the battle between the Holly and the Oak Kings, who represent the dark and light halves of the year. For the love of the goddess, also referred to as the May Queen, Beltane also may signifies this marriage, union, and consummation between the god king and the goddess queen, which is why Beltane is a widespread holiday known for weddings and hand fastings all over the world. Hand fastings is where you have a small ceremony and you marry for a year and a day. Other traditions of Beltane include hand fasting ceremonies, jumping the broomstick, going a May, and dancing around a maple and dressing trees. Going a May is going out into the outside world for the night with your partner and making love. Hand fasting has a great essence as it represents devotion to one another without the legality of being married by an institution. Many pagans decide to partake in this type of betrothal for a year and a day or any length of time they choose. Sometimes, even in life, many couples decide after this year and a day to stay together by time together or to part ways without any incitement. Hand fasting includes exchanging vows, rings, and the actual hand fasting of tying the knot. This is usually done by weaving a red string or ribbon around the couple's hands together to identify the symbol, which is later on bound, signifying the decision to remain together of their own volition. During the hand fasting, jumping the broom is a traditional act for couples to partake in. The literal jumping of the broom lying on the ground symbolizes crossing the threshold together from an old life to the life of newlyweds. What I will say on a side note of this, because it says uh, without the legality of being married, hand fasting has a great essence as it represents devotion to one another without the legality of being married by an institution. Uh, you stay together for long enough, you mix funds. In order to split up, you need a divorce whether you got fucking married or not. So be careful on that one, people. Going to Maine was a tradition of young couples spending the night in the forest, woods, or fields, meeting each other over the sacred night of unity and love. They could choose to enact the god and goddess's act of sacred union, and if the two people paired by sometime, their courtship would continue with the opportunity to get married 6 weeks later on Midsummer's Day. This was the origin of the sacred traditional June wedding, which we still value today. And I'm going to go and check some of the chat. Better than fast handing. Right. Nothing really they'll need to now we sit now we sit around watch Netflix and the takeaways, that's it. Yeah, it's basically going to a nightclub for a secret one night stand. It's all cool. Oh, hold on, I need to cough. Yes, there would have been wines and or hallucinogenic fungi taken. To celebrate Beltane, Celts used the joy of dancing to honour the sacred balance of the union of God and the goddess. The people would dance around the maypole and tie bright and colourful ribbons around it, weaving them and symbolising the union between the sky and the sun and the earth, and the masculine and feminine. A ring of flowers at the top of a maypole represents the goddess of her femininity and fertility. Dancing around the maypole has continued into our modern day traditions, usually seen in primary schools celebrating the beginning of May. I actually have video of children dancing around the maypole and getting the ribbons all waved. I was going to attempt to play it tonight, but after the debacle with the other one, I'm not even going to attempt. But I will get that sorted out into a video that I can upload, so you can expect that coming down the pipe. There are many other practices you can do to embrace to celebrate Beltane, even if you're not pagan or identify with any religion. Some of the activities would require a certain level of optimistic superstition, but enjoying the fun with them is the most important aspect of embracing the Beltane energy. One thing you may come across are trees with small colourful ribbons tied to them. This is called dressing a tree, with ribbons which represents wishes. If you have a tree in your garden or near you, you can place a piece of ribbon or string and tie it outside, allowing all the energies of Beltane to extend your wish into fruition. It is also a known tradition to wake up very early and collect the morning dew from the flowers and plants on Beltane morn, to wash your face with it to bless yourself with the long lasting beauty, uh, protection and purification for the next year. Actually, you're supposed to be still out in the wilderness whenever the morning dew comes and collect that to cleanse yourself before you go back in the house. But that's another thing. Another thing you can do is create a small Beltane altar to display in your house or bedroom, gathering elements such as flowers, branches, dew, acorns, leaves, seeds, and put them together to create a lovely personal representation of spring. So that is your clip notes versions of Beltane. No, Bohemian Grove is not this. Uh, See, here's the thing. We didn't have non-binaries whenever we were coming up with that stuff, so it doesn't involve them. Yep. Well, there's Mayday parades here, there, and everywhere, and I did about quite a few of them in the stream last year. RPI, thanks for dropping in, and all the best, chum. Uh, so that's your Clip Notes version of Beltane. Like I say, there's a link in the description if you want more May Day stuff. What I will say, I want to do a little quick bit about. So if we've got all these traditions about May Day, uh, and we have a May Day bank holiday, where those two things not connected, and we're going to do this real quick right now. I just get this brought up. The reason why we're not connected, shocker, is because of fucking communists. But there you go. I need to zoom out in a little bit. Zoom in and zoom in again. The early May bank holiday. This is a national public holiday in the United Kingdom and is celebrated on the first Monday of May. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, it may be known as May Day. The first Monday of May became a public holiday in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland in 1978. In Scotland, it had already been one of the original bank holidays since 1871. Britain has a long heritage of May Day celebrations dating back to pagan times that still have echoes in customs such as maypoles. However, the holiday was brought in as a way of marking International Labour Day by the socialist government of the time. And this was in 1978. Yeah. Not for all our traditions and stuff, but for International Labour Day. Uh, there's a couple of other bits about this when it was moved, but there we go. What I was interested in is the connection with International Labour Day. So, well, you may ask, what is International Labour Day? And I did have a bit of a dive into that. I'm going to let you see what this is about. Unfortunately, the link I'm going to be using is a Wikipedia one, although it's just about dates and how it started and whatnot, so I believe it to be accurate enough. And to get any other one, outside of Wikipedia, you're into things like the Morning Star and all sorts of other batshit communist stuff that I refuse to link to. Yep, here we go. International Workers' Day, also known as Labour Day in some countries, and often referred to as May Day, is a celebration of labourers and the working class that is promoted by the international labour movement and occurs every 1st of May. Traditionally, the 1st of May is the date for European Spring Festival. In 1889, the Marxist International Socialist Congress met in Paris and established the Second International as a successor to the earlier International Working Men's Association. They adopted a resolution for a great international demonstration in support of working class demands of the 8-hour day. The first May date was chosen by the American Federation of Labor to commemorate a general strike in the United States, which had begun on the 1st of May 1886 and culminated in the Haymarket Affair 4 days later. So, yep, the communists are the people that pushed the governments into giving you the 1st of May off, despite us having long symbols of. Show that symbol again. Right, I'll get it back up. One second, I've lost my links link. Go to page. See if we can get this back. Share screen. Share screen. Right. S- Take that's one, Billy. It's that looks very like anarchy symbol to me. Yeah, it looks a bit anarchy sounding to me. Association of International Trailer Jobbers, Conjo Federal, España. Oh, it's Spanish. That's why they're in, but it's basically an anarchy symbol. So there you go. There's why we get May Day as a holiday. Nothing to do with that. Oh, and if you think the the unions jumping on May Day and getting that off, but getting May Day taken off, if you think they're jumping on things, wait till you hear what the church has done. Joseph is the patron saint of the worker. Nah, yeah, Joseph is the saint of the worker. And what did Joseph do with his life? He uh, he was going out with a girl who became pregnant and came back and says, "Here, I've got a bit of an issue. I'm up the duff, but don't worry. I haven't been with anybody else. A spirit came down and blessed me with a baby, and you need to just go along with everything and then work your fingers to the bone to raise the child." And that's why Joseph gets to be the the patron saint of the worker. Yeah, well, how else is he providing the money for baby Jesus uh, that came out of the woman that he'd never had sex with? You know, where do babies come from? Yes, Mary, I'd like to know. Uh, Beltene Workers' Day. We did the ninjas. We're all good. We're 153. Nah, I'm coming up in 2 hours. Uh, Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stick an invite in the chat. If somebody wants to come on and have a chat for a bit, who is donkeys? Oh, I have to get Donkey Derbies on for a strange sport one some week, but it's obviously not going to be soon now because you'll be fucking guessing that. If somebody wants to come on for a chat for a bit, I'm happy to do that. And if you just want to put anything in the chat about topics, like and ask me anything you want me to talk about, I'm happy to do that for a small amount of time. And I'm looking forward to being off air uh, on the same day that I actually started the stream for once, which is good. And I hope you have all enjoyed this streamage. Let's see. While I'm waiting on topics and or someone coming in, I'm going to throw up a video. I think. Hashtag thank you. Thank you. One momento. Pages. Right, 1 second. I think this is about 15. By the way, people, this is not the outro. This is not the outro. This is probably should have done this. Should have done this a little bit sooner, straight after the Coronation stuff. But hey ho, we, we get what we get. Uh, screen. Sort of do this for tonight.
God save the king!
No surrender. There we go. Haven't heard anything from Chris. The last thing I seen was probably same thing the rest of you have seen. He put out a video saying that his mum had passed. I really do feel for him, and we all do. It's going to be a very hard time for him, but hopefully, from all the comments there, he knows that we're all here for him, and we'll be here whenever he comes back. And he needs to do the stuff he's got to do, and it's going to be hard for him. You know, I've lost my mom. Emma G's lost her mom. It's, you know, it's not easy, but I'll say one thing. If Chris is one thing, he's resilient, and he'll get by. You know, and we'll all be here for him. Bat just wants to say hello. Mr. Herbert, good evening, sir.
Good evening, 42. How are you doing on this Coronation Day?
I'm doing very well. I really enjoyed the day. Amaji and I were at a royal castle. We watched the ceremony on the big screen, and we seen a live 21 gun salute.
Excellent. Yeah, that's why I kind of sent you the 42, sorry, 62 gun salute from the Tower of London.
Oh, here, give us a second. I need to address something that's come up in the chat. And Sally, Chris is Chris Dangerfield. Most of the people that are in here or a good lot of people that are in here are colloquially known as scrubs, which are the people that populate Chris Dangerfield's chat. And he has been the chat that he's created is extremely supportive. He's been very helpful to a lot of people, and his mum has passed, and he's having a bit of a rough time. That's who the Chris is. Yeah, it did happen a few weeks ago, but he hasn't. He had to come back from Thailand, England, to settle the state. He's got a lot of stuff he's got to do. Plus, he's got a business that he runs, and I'm not sure he's back in Thailand yet, and he hasn't been seen on YouTube since. Yep. Right, sorry about that, Roy. We'll go back to it sounds a bit fucking harsh as well. Yeah, we'll say this about Christmas, we'll get back to it, but it's not, you know, I think about him regularly, but talking about him all night is not going to improve things, and we do need to.
No, I agree. For it is, it's hard when you lose your mother. I remember when I lost mine. My father rang me. It was sort of early in the morning, before work, and he said, "Could you come round? Because your mother's not moving." So so I went round and checked her pulse. No pulse, no heartbeat. She was still warm.
Yeah.
I said, "Look, Daddy, let's go downstairs, have a cup of coffee," which we did. And I rang the local surgery and I said, "Look, my mother's died." And they sat a nurse round, and she came round and said, "Oh, I'm just going to give her an injection." I said, "Hold on a minute. I just rang your surgery, to confirm that she's dead. What the F-U-C-K do you think you're doing?" But she checked her and said, "Oh my gosh," and left. So hey, that's how my mother died. But anyway, there we go. Let's go on to a better subject.
Right, yeah. We'll not go there. Oh fuck. Yep. Anyway, Coronation Day. Amaji and I were seeing all that, and it was a very good. The other thing about it was everybody was the level of like we had booked a tour of the inside of the castle. So whenever we're talking that, just settle your stuff down outside the castle and go in and do the tour. And everything will still be there whenever you come back. And that's strange whenever you're in a place where it is like that.
Well, if you're in a high trust society, it's no problem. But
but we're generally not in a high trust society. But on that day in that place, you are, because we're all here for the same thing, and nobody wants to steal your picnic.
Right. Well, it depends why you're having your picnic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Only joking.
Yeah.
Only joking.
Yeah, no, but it was good. And what about yourself?
Coronation chicken sandwiches. Is that what you had?
No, we had tuna and onion sandwiches, we had strawberries, we had ham, we had oranges, a couple of packets of crisps, fizzy drinks, all that sort of stuff. We brought, we had a rug to put down on the ground and we table to put stuff on. It was just lovely.
Well, I spent my day at home, actually. There was my neighbours next door. They'd arranged a street party for the coronation.
Oh, lovely.
And I thought, yeah, they're absolutely excellent. And the first invitation said, "Oh, we're not sure when it's going to be, depending on the weather." And because it was raining, obviously, today. And and then I had another little note come in through my letterbox saying, "Oh, we've cancelled it." Oh, there we go. I mean, I had ordered my Pimm's, lemonade, the whole thing. I was going to go around with my picnic table, but it was called off. So unfortunately, I've spent the day at home watching it on the television.
Yeah. Well, whenever whenever MG and I were getting back, there was a band parade getting ready to start because went and done the thing. And what what we do in our community for a lot of things is we have band parades, and there was about 6 marching bands. No, actually, it was 11 marching bands out parading around a little bit of circuit around our area. And there was everybody was out watching that and whatnot, and it
So,
was
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, what music do they play? These bands at the coronation.
right. Oh well, you see, I'll actually pulled something up. Uh,
Yeah,
let me see.
please, yeah, go and
Let
play it. Absolutely.
hold on. Which like is that video's unavailable. Hopefully, it's not that one. Uh, One second, because no, it's not that. I think this video might be gone. Uh, One momento. Bum, 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 bum.
And take
Right.
your time, point
Yep.
two. Take your time.
Right. Uh,
Whilst you're doing
right.
that,
Right. Found it.
oh, good. I was just going to say,
Yep.
whilst you're doing that, I'd like to talk a little bit about my regiment's role. Actually, they were on the mall, marching behind the carriage today.
Oh.
In their bearskins. Yeah, I was quite proud of that.
Yes, that is something to be proud of. Right. We see this. This is what we do. This is our community. Has that come up? It has.
Oh, there he is.
Well, yeah, I'll play a little bit of this.
Hi, darling.
Right, I'm gonna stop. That's enough. But that's the sort of thing that's sort of an average parade around our way, and there was parades all over Northern Ireland, looking quite like that.
Yeah, the interesting thing I find, point two, in Northern Ireland, or Ulster, I suppose
Yep.
I should say, is the difference in the uniforms of the Ulster Unionists that they wear. They go from like sort of traditional military to well, sort of non-military, but
Yeah, it just depends on the individual band. They'll have a look at the one to go through, and then they also go through phases where the fashion changes. Those uniforms are in and around about £1,000 each.
I'm sure. The other thing I love about it is the little boys with their sticks, throwing them up in
Yep.
the air and catching them. You know,
Yep.
I mean, they're obviously trained to do that from a very young age and pretty good at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you'll find that those kids spend 2 to 3 hours a day every day out in the street throwing a stick up and down.
Well, I tried to do it myself, 42, playing the drums. And because my son plays the bagpipes, and he was in a pipe band. And I thought, oh, well, that's easy. I could just be a drummer. And then as soon as you start trying to throw the sticks up and catching them, put them down, no, I was hopeless. So I gave up, I'm afraid, 42.
Pipe drumming is a lot more difficult than drumming for a flute band or like an accordion band. It's a whole different skill set.
Well, it was beyond my comprehension, unfortunately, or ability, I should say.
Yeah. Oh, I found a good bit of right. Talk a bit about your regiment. I'm going to find a good little bit of pipe type drumming.
Excellent.
Not from today, but right.
Go ahead.
Yep. You talk about your thing. Yes, your regiment and what they were doing today.
Oh, well, thank you so much, 42, for playing the video, of them at the Tower of London. 62 gun salute. And as I mentioned, the first round they fired of 62 rounds was coincided exactly at the time that they crowned our new sovereign.
Yeah,
that was quite fun. Other members of the regiment, they were in the parade. Following the. I was going to say chariots, thing, down the mall in London. So they were there for that too. So that was quite interesting.
Right.
Carriage. Sorry, my mind is going.
Right, check this out. we go.
Well, that was truly excellent. 42.
You know,
I mean, truly excellent. The way they just all came together, beating at the same time. It reminded me actually of the Royal Marine band,
yeah,
because they do that sort of thing, and they're extremely good at it.
yeah. But here's the thing. See that band? That comes from one of the areas of highest social deprivation in Belfast. That's what's coming out of it.
Well, they certainly know how to play the drums.
Yeah,
No doubt about that.
an area with high unemployment, low investment, and they put out a band that says every one of them in round about £1,000 worth of uniform. One of those drums is probably 700, 800 quid. The flutes are £100, and that's that's a bit I find staggering, and also their ability because they work at it bloody hard.
Well, they have pride in themselves, don't
Yeah.
they? I think above everything, that's I'm going to be part of the community, and the band is part of that.
Yeah, it is. It's quite amazing, but I've been quite the amount of stuff we've got going on and around here around this coronation is off the hook. Like there's a big street party. They're not closing down like a side street. They're closing down the main road for a street party from 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon till 10 p.m. I'm putting on a street party for the kids in the local community and all. I'm not sure who all was behind getting that organised, but there's lots going on.
Well, that's good to hear, 42. As I mentioned earlier, my street party was closed down, unfortunately. But I don't know if the weather's good tomorrow. Maybe they'll put it on again. I doubt it somehow, but
it may come back. See what the weather does. Just you never know. We got good weather today. It was dry for the whole coronation, and then right on cue, just after he was crowned, the clouds parted, the sun started coming out, and there was a bit of heat in the day. Like it was weather-wise, it all went perfect.
watch the coronation today, 42.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you notice when King Charles turned up in the carriage, and he was a bit early, and he looked like he was swearing. He was really angry. Did you see that little bit? It was caught on camera.
No, I missed that bit. That has happened. We were still doing our tour of the inside of the castle whenever that happened, so we missed sort of that. We missed a bit of the build up, but it's just the way things go.
Well, I was watching it on GB News, and they were like saying, right, okay, so Prince Andrew has to arrive before the king, and yet Andrew hasn't arrived, and you can see the King Charles sitting in it, like basically swearing something, and did they actually mention this? Does anyone lip read here? We want to know what he's saying.
Well, how they got the timing on that wrong is actually quite that is quite surprising. And what I did find really good whenever they were having the mass parade after, where they managed to get everybody to go on the march at exactly the same time. That was I thought that was quite impressive. Billy Blogs is saying Billy
Yeah,
Blogs
absolutely.
in the video he lip read it. But yeah,
Well,
that the
it's just a short clip, Billy Boggs, but
the the marching parade after it I thought was awesome.
absolutely, yeah. The other thing that I've seen clipped is when the bishop, or yeah, I guess it was the Archbishop of Canterbury, puts the crown on his head, and
Yeah,
he twists the king's neck round because Charles he's got these two things, you know, the sword and the scepter
yeah,
in his hands, so he can't do anything. And this guy like tries to twist the crown to get it right on his head, and he twists Charles's head around by about 3 inches. And I thought, oh my goodness, you know, what on earth? You can't even put the crown on properly. But yeah, there were a couple of mistakes made today, I'm afraid, but there we go.
yeah. Bass is saying he's going the tattoo. The Linda, the tattoo is a event where the military do all sorts of things. There'd be drumming, there'd be bands, there'd be marching demonstrations, there'd be I'm not sure what else they put into it, but it's basically like a BB display put on by the military. And you get to go and see them doing all their fancy stuff, which is it's if you have a look at the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, which happens in Edinburgh Castle every year, you buy a ticket to that, and you're not guaranteed to get to see it because if it rains, it doesn't happen because it's open air, and because it's booked out for the whole time, you'll get your money back if you can't get in to see the show, but it's you get it or not. You either get to see it or you don't. But that's what a tattoo is.
Yeah, to follow up on that one, Linda, my a good friend of mine, well, an old school friend of mine, was Major General Mike Riddle Webster, and he was the governor of Edinburgh Castle until about 2019, I think, for about 4 years. He never invited me to the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, utter BUSTARD, but never mind. I'll forgive him.
Let's see. What else? Anything else we need to go over?
No, I don't think so. 42. It is. Gosh, 8 minutes until my birthday, so I think I'm going to go.
Yes, get a RH or a happy birth or an HB in the chat there for actually going to go HB. Get a HB in the chat there for Rory's birthday, and everybody wish him a happy birthday. And many happy returns to you, sir. I hope you have a good one.
That's very kind of you. I shall be drinking the Pims that I haven't drunk today for the coronation, so I think we'll have a good time.
That's a bonus. That's a bonus. You've got unexpected Pims. It's all good.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, 42. Thank you so much for having me on once again.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's always a pleasure to speak to yourself in your nice cut glass accent.
Well, and a pleasure to speak to you with your nice Ulster accent.
Oh, thank you very much. With that, I'm going to find some music for an intro. And we'll get this show wrapped up. And I'm actually going to be wrapped up for midnight or thereabouts. And what I'm going to be playing for the intro is a song by a guy that we sometimes see in the chat. Well, it's the band that he plays in, called Clan of Celts, and I will get the link to it, put it in the description because I didn't do that last week because I'm a dumbass. But that's what we're going to have. Al Mac plays in this band, Clan of Celts. The song's called Please Don't Take Me Home. That's what we're going to do for the intro. And that's going to be that. Present.
Yeah. So, yep. Good night, 42.
Good night.
I'll try and leave.
Yep.
Here we go. There
Right,
we go.
Have a good one, Rory, and thanks again very much for coming on.
And you, all the best, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What's Billy Brooks saying? I was here earlier, he's on his way home. Yep. He's traveling at the moment. Oh, that's on the wrong setting. Get that. We'll get this going.
Swinging, now what's no score today? The bar had 116, so one was an extra day to play. With a jukebox live a pumping, the boys were here to stay. Blasting out its freedom songs in harmony they sway. With some clientele can drink so well, get loud with angry tone. The landlord pulls them to one side and tells them to go home. The weekend's gone, they carry on, there is no time to lose. Another pint, another shot, we're touch upon the booze. The fight about the horses, the fight about the cards. Hold back the pistol, oh, the pistol, make out that they're hard. Let me drop a tear for Ireland and sing them on a song. You'll be sure of the crack when you drink with the pack, so please don't send me home. Evening, the crack was still in flow. Some could stand and some were down, but none of them would go. The runners took the bets and the barman poured the drink. The banter back and forth was fierce, but none of them could think. When tomorrow comes, there's no more fun. It's back to sight, they'll drift. The heads are down, they'll have to graft to make up for the shift. As the week goes on, their thoughts will turn to another Monday club. When Friday comes, the tools go down. It's time to hit the pub. The fight about the horses, the fight about the cards. Pull back the pistol, though they're pissed to make out that they're hard. Let me drop a tear for Ireland and sing them on a song. You'll be sure of the crack when you drink with the pack, so please don't send me home. The fight about the horses, the fight about the cards. Hold back the pistol, oh, the pistol, make out that they're hard. Let me drop a tear for Ireland and sing them on a song. You'll be sure of the crack when you drink with the pack, so please don't send me home. Please don't send me home. Please don't send me home. home. Please don't send me home.
For the record, they're London Irish, but anyway, it is what it is. Everybody, thank you all for coming tonight. Really enjoyed the stream. I've been 42. You lot in the chat have been fucking awesome as usual. And good night. God bless. See us all next week.